I'm allowed to call him back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to what we call the Sunday Rise. We don't have the 24 karat gold plate today because BJ's not in the building, but we do have an offering plate going around. And unlike him, I like the kind that fold, but if you singles and you got something that jingle, we good with that too. We don't mind doing a little something strange for some change if you get what I'm saying to you this morning. It's the Sideline Junkies. I'm the Midnight Rider. That's the Gentleman Jack. It's the dynamic duo. Baby, Batman and Robin ain't got nothing on this. Felix and Oscar ain't got nothing on this. Ebony and Ivory ain't got nothing on this, baby. Oh, baby, yes, indeed.
Pepper ain't got nothing on this.
Exactly, baby. It's the two of us. We're gonna rock it. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna take you through a roundup of NBA All-Star Weekend. Matt McClung and his trifecta. We're gonna talk to you about South Carolina women versus the UConn women today for a quick bit, just because we got something different. We're going to be talking about the brawl for it all in Montreal, Team USA versus Team Canada. I don't even know if it was in Montreal, but that sounded cool, so just deal with it, all right? We're going to rank some running backs, and then we're going to give you a roundup of college basketball from last night, and then we got 4 running backs that we want you to rank. So if you're listening now and you're in the group, we're ranking Eddie George, Curtis Martin, Jerome Bettis, and who's the 4th? Who am I missing? Terrell Davis. Those are the 4 running backs we ranking 1 to 4. It's just those 4. It's nobody else. All right. So when you get a chance, you think about it, write it down, send a postage. I don't care what you do, but tell us what you think 1 through 4 is. With that all being said, Gentleman Jack, how are you this morning?
I'm good this fine Sunday morning. Rainy, soggy Sunday morning, I must say, in the DMV area. I'm good. How you?
I'm good, man.
Excellent.
I told you, Eric, all I need is that light to go on. Hey, go live, we good, baby. You get all that.
Air. We on the air. Baby. That was a gift for Christmas gift right there. I think my brother-in-law gave it to me. But when I turn it on to light up, you can't read it. So leave it turned off. It looks pretty cool. I like it.
I just noticed it when you pointed back to it. And I've looked at that 22 jersey the whole time. I've never paid attention to the on-air button.
Yeah. It's been there since Christmas.
Let's jump into it, man.
Let's do this.
Last night, the NBA, what we used to call NBA Saturday, most prolifically known for the dunk contest. But last night, let's start with the skills competition where the San Antonio team got disqualified for not making a shot or taking a shot that's, I guess, what is it called? A qualified shot at the basket. What were your thoughts?
Well, I picked San Antonio to win the skills challenge. I was going with skiller Chris Paul and one of the most skilled big men in the league, and Victor Wembanyama. So when they got disqualified, first when they started doing it, I was like, what kind of skill is that? I didn't know what they were doing at first. He was slanging because Wemby hit the backboard a couple times. Chris Paul was just flipping it 5 feet, Yep. But when TNT sent a reporter to the sideline to try to get the scoop, it was funny how the NBA representative kept shooshing her away. And apparently they gave Chris Paul and Wemby something to read, some fine print in the rules, in which I would love to see. I'm going to Google and look for those rules today to see what it said. Must make a valid attempt is what somebody said.
Yeah, that's
Wemby. Wemby's were valid. Like I say, they hit the backboard, a couple of them.
Yeah, but Chris's weren't.
That's Chris Paul trying to pull the okey doke, is what we call it around my way. So, you know, they just cheated, it seems. So I just thought it was funny how the NBA representatives were, keeping up the reporters away. I mean, just let us know what the rule says. Rules is rules, is the way I say it. So it was nice, and I enjoyed watching the rest of the guys compete. It ended up being won by Mitchell and Mobley from the Cavs, and it was real tight. What's name? Draymond. He missed one of the passing circles twice, yes. And that probably held Golden State from beating Cleveland on that. So,
I totally agree. I mean, it was the San Antonio thing. When I saw it in real time, I was trying to figure out what the heck they were doing, but I could tell they were trying to steal in the moments, still in minutes, still in seconds or whatever.
Oh, they did it. They did it in 47 seconds, midnight ride.
Right.
Good time is like 110, 105.
Exactly. Like they have broke the world's record, the sound barrier, by doing that. Real quick, I think we got a couple early comments. Let me see if they. All right, here we go. It was weak. They should at least try to shoot. All they had to do was trying to work the rules. So yeah, I totally agree, Jack.
That's what they were doing.
They were trying to skirt the rules as much as they possibly could to get something going, and it just didn't make sense. Because I think they would have had a better time just because the two guys involved, period, were so skilled and much more skilled than anybody else. Like it's like, what's the point? Why are you even doing this? Because you don't have to do it to win this competition.
I agree.
It's almost like they got picked and they didn't want to be picked. So they just went through the motions to get things done. And that's basically the way it translated on the screen for me. I don't know about you.
No, I agree. But like I said, they could have gave it a look. I mean, it seemed like it was just blatant the way Chris Paul flipped the balls, Wemby least threw it up there. Like I said, if you throw all three up really fast, up near the rim or the backboard, then that could be considered a shot attempt, But if you just throw the ball 5 feet, that's obviously not a shot attempt. So I think that Chris Paul should have put more effort into the hustle. You know what I'm saying? You just grab the ball, fling, hit it up by the backboard, and you're gone. It's just as fast as what he did. So exactly. a little more effort, and it might have worked, CP3. But like my man Midnight Rider said, I don't feel that team had to get an edge like that. I think they could have won it head up.
Yeah, it's almost like that wrestler that's winning the match the whole time, and then decides to like break out the brass knuckles for no reason. It's just stupid, man. It's just one of those things. The next event, I don't have the chronological order, so we're gonna go with 3-point contest. Okay. The winner was
Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero.
Yes.
Tyler Hero won with
24 points.
Final score of 24.
And the runner-up was Buddy Hield.
Yeah. Buddy Hield came out on fire in the first round. Jesus Christ, he couldn't miss. He hit both of the long ones.
The starry balls.
He hit 31 in the first round, and he hit both long balls, which are worth points. So you think about that. If he didn't hit those both long balls, he would only had 25 points. So he tied Steph Curry's record, but Steph did it without that extra shot, I think. So I don't know what happened to Buddy in the finals, man. He was just cold. I don't know. He didn't shoot lights out, and then he had to clear the final rack. He had to clear the final rack to win, and he didn't. So
the crazy part, he was 4 for 5 on that final rack.
Yes, but he needed them all. And Tyler Hero was in the back of my mind when we made them picks the other day, but I went with Buddy Hield because he is the most 3-point shooting player in the league today. So that's why I went with him. Cade Cunningham didn't look too good. Dame didn't make it out of the first round. So he was just off too. I think Dame got like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's Dame's event. Jack
he's won it before.
Jack jumped in back when we were talking about the skills competition. He said they could have at least thrown it off the backboard.
Yeah, that's what I say.
And then he agreed with you. Yes, Wemby is on his way to being the most skilled big man in the league. We totally agree on that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that part of it at all. Speaking of which, when we talked about the shootout part of this, I think I picked Cam Johnson because he's from North Carolina. I think he struggled with like a 16 in the first round. He was out early. I watched Buddy Hield shoot, and Buddy shot the lights out early, like Jack said. But when it came down to the end of it, I thought he had it. And I'm gonna say this, and this is going to be one of the most old man takes of all takes. But the 3-point contest is like the scores are garbage. Like you can't compare the scores now to the scores of back in the day, because now you got a whole rack of money balls. Then you got the two long distance threes that give you even more points. It's like so you're gonna tell me that Buddy Hield is the greatest 3-point contest shooter of all time compared to a guy like a Craig Hodges, and then you put his scores up against each other, and the scores can't mesh. You can't measure the scores because the events is totally different now.
Come on, Craig.
Huh?
Come on, Craig.
Yeah, they changed the whole thing, man. Top flight security of the world, Craig. Here we go. We got Jack riding as our third wheel today, baby.
No problem.
I thought Dame was going to win the 3-point contest.
Shot terrible.
Or he said at least who I wanted to win it. Yeah, he just came out. It just seemed like he was flat the whole time. Him and Cam Johnson, they just seemed like once they got on, I don't know if they're warm-ups and they came out cold or whatever it was, but it wasn't they just weren't there. And then like you said, Buddy Hield, but this is Buddy's competition. I think he's the perfect guy for this. And then we talk about Tyler Hero. I had him in the back of my mind, just like you, Jack. I wasn't sure his style of shooting was going to fit the competition, but yeah, I definitely should have tried to take that one over Cam Johnson.
I was a little concerned because Tyler Hero. I use this phrase often. He was up and down like a roller coaster. His scoring is just. He came
in. He scored. I think he scored what 40 the night before.
Yeah, he scored the night before.
Yeah,
but he can, say Tyler Hero's got a 21-point average. He'll give you 41, then he'll give you 12, then he'll give you 9, then he'll give you 24, then he'll give you 8. I mean, I just don't understand how he's so inconsistent.
Well, you know what it is. I mean, that's the part that you even know that is partially because you've had him in a couple of your parlays. That's the way it sounds to me, Jack. And our third guy says, I like Tyler Hero. Young boy has game. Totally agree. I think he's the reason that they were comfortable with letting Jimmy Buckets go and taking whatever in the trade back. I think Tyler Hero is a solid player. I don't know if he's ever going to lead you to a championship, but he's good enough that you can get by. He's got the tools to be. I think Jack just said the same thing. So I want to. That's the way of the young players today. Yeah, exactly. They're so up and down. They don't have that level of consistency in their game. And I think part of that is just mostly because they rely so much on the three. When you shoot threes, and threes is a huge part of your game, but you're only shooting 40% from three, that makes it difficult. If that makes sense.
That's the whole league nowadays, though, man. Jesus. Everybody putting them up. I think Boston and Cleveland are putting up the most.
I'll look into that.
And maybe Minnesota or OKC. I think it's OKC.
We looking at the most shots attempted.
Yeah. How many they're putting up? Yeah, I'd say that.
All right, so I'm gonna effort on that. Start jumping into the dunk contest for me. I know you watched that or watched the piece of that while I pull up.
You got the field for that anywhere with you?
It was the kid from Chicago who's Zillis.
Yeah. He didn't look bad.
Castle from
Chicago. He was trash.
And I don't remember who the fourth guy was.
Well,
is McClung, Castle,
it don't matter.
Who's Zillis. Okay.
It was the Mac McClung show, right? Isn't that right?
I think Castle gave you some dunks. Castle made it interesting.
Ain't nobody getting no perfect scores, and McClung got perfect score every dunk. I ain't never seen that I recall. I don't even think Vince Carter did that. Huh?
Every dunk was a 50.
50. Straight up.
Yeah.
Jumped over a fucking car. Jumped over a car and did a reverse dunk. Shit. He jumped over somebody every time.
No, the one I liked was the one where he had the guy spinning on the thing. He took that ball, dunked that, and then dunked the other ball at the same time.
The other one. Yeah, that was bad.
That was dope. That dunk contest and just his efforts alone, and even the Castle dunk where the guy threw the ball over the rim, it went through the basket. He catches it, goes through his legs, and dunks it.
Yeah,
that was could have been a 50.
I don't know if it was. They only gave him a 49.
That should have been a 50.
It was pretty nasty.
But when I see those types of dunks, I just think of my pops when he used to watch. Like we would watch the dunk contests at separate levels, and I could I'd come up depending on who the dunker was, and we'd sit there and watch a certain dunker, and he'd just make this like he'd make a noise and just I knew when the dunk was good. Like I knew when it was a 50. You know what I'm saying? Like he was almost my range of a 50. Because if he made the certain sound, I was like, oh, that was a 50. Yeah, that's a 50.
That was me last night. I blew the roof off my house when he jumped over that car and did that reverse dunk. The girls came in. What's going on? I'm like, dunk contest on, y'all. Me and Cameron, we used to watch dunk contests, home run derby. We used to watch all that a lot. She just watched the videos later. She didn't watch it live with me like she used to. But they heard me. I'm telling you, I went buck nuts when he jumped over that car and did that reverse. I mean, I thought he was just going to jump over the car and, give me a little something. He jumped over the car, looked at the rim, and then spun around. It was he's got ups, man, because he can't be but 6'2", 6'3".
Right. But, I mean, when you that height, you got your hops are, you got a 48, 50-inch vertical. That's crazy.
6'2".
Let me hit this real quick because Jack is riding with us shotgun. It was over after the first dunk by McClung, which you just said, and I totally agree. When I saw it, I was like, "Yo, I mean, how can you top it?" But then he did the dunk. The one I saw a couple dunks later was the one where he kissed the rim with the ball and then he dunked it. Oh,
that was tight.
It looked like it was kind of like that. The old school Tom Chambers double pump.
Yeah, I've seen him tap the backboard a couple times before, but I ain't never seen him tap the front of the rim. That was
crazy, man. It was sick. Shut it down with his first dunk is the other thing that Jack Wagner said.
That's what he said to me last night.
Yo, it was one of the best competitions. Even if it was a two-man show, it was still a good competition. I don't know if we got to say that the dunk contest is back like Kenny always says, but it was a good show. And I think
it was better. I'm sorry, man. I'd rather cut you off, buddy.
No, you good, baby. You good. I think the only thing we got to do now is I think we just have to infuse, since we're not getting the top tier guys, we got to make it more fun. And I think the only way you can make it more fun is if you include these YouTube dunkers, even if you get some guys from the G League. And I know Jack had a thought process where he was talking about Ja Morant needs to get in the dunk contest.
I was thinking the same thing.
I think Ja's only reason for not getting in it is, if you remember early in the season, he talked about, hey, I don't want to do this because dunking is starting to take effect on my body and my back and all this other stuff. But he still comes down and he'll give you something every now and then in a ball game. So I think he's just faking the funk. You know what I'm saying? Oh, here we go. The man of the hour. So we're going to change the lineup a little bit. We're going to finish up with the dunk contest. I think that took care of all of the shenanigans from the NBA. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's the man, the myth, the legend. If you guys say his name twice, it's very nice. We call him Matty Ice. Hold on, I gotta change the screen because you know me. I don't like. Yeah. All right.
There you go.
All right. So perfect lead in. I ain't even gonna waste no time. We're gonna talk a little the Four Nations. And last night we had the greatest spectacle. I thought the Team USA, as the national anthem is being sung, the national anthem gets booed out of the gym. So I'm definitely thinking we were in Montreal last night. We opened the game, and within the first 9 seconds, we had 3 fights. There's no NBA All-Star game that can match up to this. There's no Pro Bowl that can match this intensity. It's only the MLB, and I think right now we know the MLB is in second. But Matty Ice, break me down what happened in the first 9 seconds of the NHL.
Well, first we have to give credit to the NHL, right? The NHL screws up a lot. They screw up more than any league probably should. They got this Four Nations tournament thing right. People were worried about going into this thing. Is this just going to be a glorified all-star game? Is this going to be just up and down the ice? No one's going to be hitting or checking. You know, night one took care of most of that. And if there was any doubt left, last night erased all of that doubt for sure. Yeah, it's probably the greatest game as far as best on best in a while that we've had in the Olympics. I only think Olympic game, and most of that's because of the way the first 9 seconds work out. You've got Brady Tkachuk and Hagel basically going right to each other saying, we're going to go, right? And they both say, yep. They drop their gloves and they go. And Hagel probably got the better of Tkachuk a little bit, but it was a pretty even fight. And then while that is ongoing, Matt Tkachuk goes and grabs his teammate, Sam Bennett. These guys played together for Florida. Keep that in mind. They play on the same team. He tells Sam Bennett, we're going. Sam Bennett was on the bench. He comes out to start. They're at the center. They're going to do the next face-off, and they immediately go. And Matt Tkachuk probably gets the better of that fight. And then JT Miller not wanting to not have a part of it either. The next break, he just drops his gloves and is just waiting for somebody to come and join him, which he got somebody, but unfortunately got a 6'6", 280-pounder. So he got the better of that. But yeah, that was an electric start to say the least with just the fights alone. And then they finally decided, okay, now we're going to play some hockey.
Mm-hmm. Were there brothers in the penalty box together?
Yes, Brady and Matt Tkachuk. Brady was in the penalty box when Matt got done with his fight and literally got a high five from him as he went in. It was awesome, just awesome. And they're both mic'd up. If you go on to Twitter, you can probably find it because they had those two mic'd up for the game. They only played bits of it, but that was some great stuff.
If it was a wrestling event, they would have jumped out with "This is awesome" or "Holy shit" chants at the beginning. Because when I watched it back, again, I know you missed the opening part of this, but I told Jack last night I went to a buddy's house, had some drinks, had some good food, When I got home, I just passed out. So I'm watching everything at 1 a.m. In the retro or the rewinds. And when I saw that fight, I was like, yo, there's no way we can go tomorrow's show and not talk about this event. And when I looked at it, it's the beauty of hockey. Like, I think random people that aren't hockey fans think fights are just always going to happen. And last night, I think you saw the almost, I think it's a diplomatic way of a fight being started where you have to ask the guy, do you want to throw down? And like, it's like you get that approval and then everybody's like, all right, then we're going to go. And that was the perfect example. And that reminded me of, I don't remember the game, and I know that's why we have you on here, Maddie, for this segment, is there was a playoff game a couple years ago where all they did was drop the puck, and at the puck drop, it was a 5-on-5 fight.
Drop.
Oh, in the playoffs, or are you thinking of the Rangers Caps game after the Tom Wilson?
That's it. There it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that happened twice in that game.
and that's the beauty of hockey, man. Like, hockey is just like, hey, you want to fight? And they're like, all right, cool, let's do it. And it doesn't diminish the game at all, but it's just one of those beautiful things. And I think that's part of the reason people like hockey, because of the fights, but they get lost in the skill. You know, I never forget the game that I went with Duval Paul, and we were on the glass, and I'm watching these guys 6'5", 230 pounds on a blade. And that's literally when I respected hockey.
Right.
That's when I started actually like seriously like following it. Like as a kid, I like good on good as a kid. So if you get good team versus good team, so I'd watch the hockey playoffs just because I like the competition.
Right.
I didn't really understand the rules. I started learning the rules, and then it didn't help that Nintendo came out with the ice hockey game, and then Blades of Steel and all that stuff. So that's how I learned the rules.
Right.
Like I learned the rules of hockey from Blades of Steel.
And you always had to have at least the one big guy on Blades of Steel that would just destroy everybody.
Yeah, and then was it ice hockey or whatever, where you had the three guys, you had the skinny guy, the medium-sized guy, and the really big guy that couldn't move. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and the key to understand, like, how did that happen last night too? It is an international quote unquote tournament, but they're playing by NHL rules, and that's a big difference because in the NHL you can still fight, get the 5-minute major, and you're back in the game. If this was by international hockey rules, if you fight, it's a game misconduct. So that's why you're not going to see this right now happen in the Olympics, because nobody's just going to drop their gloves 9 seconds into the game and be done for that game, right? So the NHL rules kind of allowed this powder keg. And look, to avoid the political side of this between USA and Canada right now, like, I don't want to go there, but it just was the perfect, I probably haven't seen anything like this, honestly, since February 22nd, 1980, when you had that perfect powder keg of the USA going, the kids going up against the great Russian team during the Cold War. Like, this is about as close to that as it's ever come in international hockey with what we had last night. And, the key to this all is this could happen again on Thursday, but this time it'll be in Boston.
That's crazy. So I made a statement last night, and you kind of debunked my statement of thinking that it was because they booed the national anthem. What do you think was the start or the impetus of this fight?
I think that's some of it. I mean, especially with Brady and Makachuk. I mean, they had a plan, and so I think there's some of that. It's also been 8 years since you've had a best on best tournament, and the last time Canada played the U.S. in any format, they waxed us. So you had a lot of trash talking. You had the booing of the anthem. You had the buildup of 8 years since these two teams have really gone at it in a best on best format. I mean, they've met in world championships and in the juniors and stuff like that, but even in the world championships, they go on at the same time as the NHL playoffs. So you've only got a couple guys that aren't in the playoffs that decide that they still want to play more hockey that go. So you just don't have the lineups like what you had last night. So I think all of that, along with the booing of the, it's all part of it. You had also Team USA wanting to send that message to Team Canada early on, because Team USA's lineup is filthy as far as not only do they have skill, but they got size. Team Canada has a lot of speed and skill, and Team USA from start to finish of that game, they had their size take advantage of them. And I'm pretty sure right now that Team Canada is regretting their decision of not having one Washington Capital on their lineup, and that's Tom Wilson.
I was about to say,
Canada could have used a Tom Wilson last night to match USA's physicality, and they just don't have anyone on that roster that can match it.
Go ahead, Jack.
So this here is in the middle of the NHL season, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So they're on a 2-week break right now, so there's no NHL.
That's what I wanted to ask. How long is this going to go? And is the NHL season going to go a little longer because of this, or are they just right on schedule?
No, it's going to go a little bit longer, and that's part of why they haven't done a lot of this, because it's finding the time to do this. Where the guys love these international competitions, but they don't necessarily want to do it before the season starts because it gets into their preseason routine, and they definitely don't want to do it after the season because they need that time to kind of unwind. So the NHL has been kind of reluctant to do this, but they have announced going forward, basically every 2 years now, you're going to have an international competition between the Olympics, and they're bringing back the World Cup of Hockey, which means you're only going to have an NHL All-Star game every other year, which I think is good because it's a format that's kind of fizzled out with doing the 3-on-3 thing. So they're going to only have an All-Star game basically every other year. So I think maybe the NHL has kind of figured out and grown on that. Hey, this is going to work. People are going to want to watch this. It's way better than an All-Star game. And it's something that I don't know. I don't know if the NBA could figure out a way to take notes of this and figure out a way to do something similar. But man, I can't wait to see what the ratings come out for this game for today. Cause I had people that don't follow hockey that were hitting me up like, I'm watching this game. This is incredible. And that's, like I said, the NHL does a lot of stupid things. They've gotten this tournament right so far.
Okay.
You got anything else, Jack?
No, that answered my question. So the making this tournament here is replacing the All-Star game. I didn't know that. That's good info, Maddie. Good info.
All right, so here we go. Now the fourth member of the group, the Tully Blanchard of the Four Horsemen going today, Jack Wagner. Wow, USA came to fight though. USA. You got to give those guys props to be able to fight on ice skates. Wow, that would be crazy. And then Mavi, I call it Mavi because it's V Williams on Fiat, but it's Mavi for me. Good information.
That's V right there. V.
Yeah, she just here because we here.
That's right. She supports us.
But I'm trying to think. Last night, when it came to the hockey, I think the hockey game finished second to the fights, and I think that's the beauty of hockey is it gives us that gladiator feel that we want. And it's almost as if at certain points, I think like after the second Kachuk fight, I felt like they were walking off the ice, and it was like vintage Maximus. Are you not entertained? Yep. Like I felt like that's what I heard as they were going to the penalty box, and then you get the third fight. And yeah, TJ Miller was a little out of his league in the person he decided to fight, but still he gave you.
He held his own though. I mean, he stayed on his feet for a good chunk of that.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't. It wasn't like a TKO or anything like that, or and I loved it, man. I don't want to bastardize the games yesterday, but what were your thoughts on, was it Finland and Sweden? Because they played yesterday as well.
Yeah, Finland beat Sweden in overtime 4-3. It's a big win for the Finns, and what it creates is, so Monday is the last day of the round robin.
Right.
The USA has clinched their spot in the final, which is good because Makachuk did get injured in the third period of that game yesterday. He did not skate the last 15 minutes of it. I don't see him playing in the game now on Monday against Sweden because that game really technically doesn't mean anything to the US. They'll probably not play Connor Hellebuyck either because he gave up the first goal against Connor McDavid. And I do want to talk about that goal because Connor McDavid gets the puck at the red line and he's skating 15 miles an hour and he is flying. He was skating at 24 miles an hour when he breaks by the 2D and scores the goal. Wow. 24 miles an hour. He was flying. And the shot, he dekes Hellebuyck on a great goal. Just roofs it. Like, McDavid is by far, when he does that, the best player in the game. But then what turned the whole game around is because he dekes McAvoy on the game, and then 5 minutes later he's trying to squeeze by McAvoy, and McAvoy lays out McDavid, and then 60 seconds later Gensel goes down and scores on a soft one on Binnington, and that changed the entire complex of that game because that crowd was, you want to talk about between the three fights, and then McDavid does what he does. I mean, that place, the building was, the roof was going to explode off that place. And the USA got it calmed down. Hellebuyck made some immediate great saves, and then the hit on McDavid. And McDavid really wasn't the same since then. And that game was the coming out party for Jacob Slavin, the defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes. He doesn't get the love of a lot of the D guys because he doesn't score. The kid played 25 minutes last night. He played against Crosby and McDavid solely, and he was +3. All 3 goals he was on the ice for. He limited those guys to 6 shots on goal when he was on the ice. He is just the defenseman, and it was good to see the love that he was getting because he's just not well known because he plays in Carolina. But that was a coming out party for Jacob Slavin last night, and the defensive clinic that him and Brett Faber put on together, because those two, Sidney Crosby has never lost a Team Canada game. He was 14-0 going into last night. So what they did is just incredible. But yeah, so back to the Finland beats Sweden. So what this means now is Canada, Sweden, and Finland all have 2 points. The USA they're in the finals. Finland plays Canada at 1:00. Basically, if either one of those teams wins in regulation, because then they get 3 points, and both of those teams beat Sweden in overtime, if one of those 2 teams wins the game in regulation, that's who Canada plays. If they win in overtime and Sweden beats the US in regulation, which I don't see happening, but it could if the US just completely go on cruise control, then Sweden could still get into the final if they beat the US in regulation and the Canada-Finland game goes to overtime. So that's what we're set up for on Monday, for a crazy day of hockey.
Well, Midnight Rider, with USA being banged up so much, we might have to get Matty Ice to tape up for the next match.
No, I'm too old and fat for that. That's for sure.
Oh, you're not gonna tape up like KG?
No, see, I played goal anyway, so and they're set in net. Their problems are not anywhere near the net. I would be no help to them out on D or forward.
All right, so you made a comment when you were talking, and I want our fans or our people that watch to understand hockey at a different level. So you said something about a soft goal. Explain to them what a soft goal is, so that way they're, when they watch hockey and they see something happen, they can say, "Oh, Matty Ice told me this is a soft goal, and this is what a soft goal looks like."
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the shot from Gensel was from the far outside, so it's from an area that most goalies, you want them to make, especially if they see the shot, and he had a clear view of the shot, and it kind of goes through what they call the 5-hole, which is the area between his legs of the pads, exactly. And banks in and goes in there. He didn't have a stick flat on the ice. It's one of those goals that you look at and you're like, how the hell did he give that up? That's basically what a soft goal is, and that is what the Binnington goal was, is the first one anyway. The second one is a great shot from Larkin. It's still from far out, where honestly the one that Larkin scores is one of those goals where you're like, okay, I can understand why he gave that up, but you want your goalie to make that save in that situation. It was a savable shot, but still a hell of a shot by Larkin. And that's been what I think a lot of people were nervous of for Team Canada is their goaltending. Of when Craig Binnington is their best option in goal, that's not saying a lot for the Canadian goalies. I mean, Jake Ottinger, who's on the bench for Team USA, probably could have played these first 2 games and done similar to what Hellebuyck did, but Hellebuyck arguably has been the best goalie in the regular season in the NHL the last 2 years. Now, he's had an issue in the playoffs, which was my concern, and so far through 2 games, he's not had those hiccups come up, which is good. So a soft goal is one where you just look at it and you're like, that seems like one the goalie should have stopped.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, it's Matty Ice. He is the host of the Drive Time on Mondays at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
p.m.
If I don't hit record instead of live stream.
It doesn't matter when you're on, but you're on when you're on. He's our hockey expert. You'll get a deeper, broken down version of this when he goes live on Monday. But if you don't mind having time, I'm going to push a segment up because I think you will fit this segment.
You got it.
Because of your fantasy football knowledge. So me and JC, I saw this before the show went live, and they gave us 4 running backs. All right. So these 4 running backs, it's Eddie George, Jerome Bettis, Curtis Martin, and Terrell Davis.
Ooh.
And you got to rank them 1 through 4.
We're talking just strictly fantasy football by fantasy football rankings, right?
Just whatever ranking you want to use.
But
I know you would fit this. So that's why when you popped in, I was like, oh, this is an easy 2-segment thing.
Man.
Not fantasy football, just
football.
Straight up.
Just football.
Running backs.
Eddie George, Curtis Martin, Terrell Davis. Who was the 4th?
Jerome Bettis.
Jerome Bettis. Damn.
It's a tough 4.
You can go second. I can go first.
Yeah, we can let him marinate because we already been thinking about it. So let me shoot from the hip here, Midnight Rider.
Shoot, do your thing.
It is tough, but I gotta shoot with Terrell Davis, number 1. Curtis Martin, a very, how do you say this? He never got no respect, in my opinion, as a running back. Not as much as I feel he should have. So Curtis Martin will be my number 2. Jerome Betts, number 3, just because of how many touchdowns he scored. I put him over Eddie George for that. And then Eddie George coming in at 4, who I enjoyed watching play. And as I said, I got autographed football right over here in my case from Eddie George. It's a beautiful signature. It's cool. So that's what I got. What you got, Midnight Rider? Same?
No. We never agree, Jack.
You got Bettis first just because he went to Notre Dame.
Why would you say this, Jack? No, seriously. For me, I got Curtis Martin 1 because he's the excellence of execution. He is if we're gonna do like wrestling themes, he's the Bret Hart of running backs. He's the excellent execution. He's the best there is, the best there was, one of the best there will be. But he just doesn't get the limelight because he isn't that guy. I put Terrell Davis 2, and that's only because his highlights, his highest points were the best ceilings of any running back that you can put out there. And then for me, 3 is, yes, Bettis, and 4 is George. But I think George doesn't get the respect because those Baltimore games that they played were like that hurt his legacy to a certain extent. If he had played in any other division beside the at that time, I guess it was the AFC Central, I think he'd have been on a different level. But because they played Baltimore and he had those games with, Ray Lewis and them and that stingy defense, and you got Pittsburgh, like if you put him in the NFC Central, let alone I think Eddie George gets more numbers than you think because he's in a division where the defenses aren't great. Like that was a stretch of elite defenses in that league, and that's the only reason he's 4. All right, Maddie.
So my first thought was Terrell Davis would probably be 1, and I think the key for that is Davis and Betts probably had the best surrounding cast of those 4. You know, so their stats are going to look better than even Curtis Martin, because Curtis Martin did play on a lot of bad teams. And so did Eddie George. He played on a lot of bad teams, where Terrell Davis definitely, I think, had the best surrounding cast of them. So I think I would go Davis 1 also with his injuries. You know, I don't know that we ever even got to see the fullest potential of Terrell Davis. But, you know, at the same time, if I got the ball on the 2-yard line and I'm picking one of those 4 running backs to get me those 2 yards, it's going to be Betts. Like, yes. I trust Jerome Betts out of all 4 of those to get in the end zone no matter what in that situation. So I think Betts would kind of be close to 2, and but like Curtis Martin would probably be 3. And it pains me to say Eddie George 4, being an Ohio State guy, but that would probably be how I'd go. But again,
truth is truth.
If I got the ball on that 2-yard line and I need those 2 yards, I'm going with Betts over any one of them, honestly.
Well, it was something that you mentioned, you know, the stats and whatnot, because I do have them here in front of me. Terrell Davis, 16,500 yards, 60 touchdowns. Martin, 14,000 yards, 90 touchdowns. Betts, high 13,000, 91 touchdowns. And Eddie George, mid 10,000, 68 touchdowns.
Yeah, double check your Davis stats, because Davis was only there for like 7 years.
Oh, so really?
His numbers.
Maybe I've seen something wrong.
Yeah, you might be having Stephen Davis numbers, not
Terrell, 1655, 60 touchdowns. Bingo.
Is that one season? 1,600 yards?
16,000. Oh, yeah, I didn't do 16,000. You're right.
Yeah, because he only played like 6 seasons. So,
yeah, I saw that wrong. It was 1,600 season. I thought it said 16,000 for his career. Excuse me on
good.
that. I will give you a career total right here. Career without playoffs, I believe. Yeah, he's only a 7,600 yard rusher, but he does have 60 touchdowns.
And what he does is he makes it hard now for the committee when we get to talking about running backs being eligible for the Hall of Fame. Like, you can't hold out of Frank Gore or Fred Taylor if you allow Terrell Davis in the Hall of Fame. And we know part of Terrell Davis' legacy is mostly because he got John Elway 2 championships.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So like it's not like we're holding him to that standard, but the rest is like outside of that 3-year stretch, the rest of his career was garbage. And that's the part where when we were talking with KG and we were talking about Sterling Sharp, like you got to give if Terrell Davis is in the hole, you got to give some guys some love because of their stretches.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got anything else for these running backs?
I didn't realize he only had 7,000 yards. That's
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 seasons too. Yeah, he could have been something, man.
All right, here we go. Jack Wagner. I like the bust numbers. Number 1, Curtis Martin. Number 2, Eddie George. Then Terrell Davis. I like that. Tell you, boy,
it stumbled out of my lip one time, dog. I see you, Jim.
Nah, it was. Yeah, I had a couple of those.
Did I? I know I said it once, but that's all right. I know how to say Celtics win.
And then Boss B says TD 7,600 yards.
Right.
Then Boss follows it up. Pro Football Hall of Fame has set a dangerous precedent. And then Jack comes right back after that. Exactly. He couldn't stay healthy. Got to be on the field to do anything. Maddie, we're about to talk a little hoops. Do you want to stick around or you want to hop out?
I'll probably have to hop out because I do gotta get some stuff done here, and it is snowing pretty good here, and I've got a yard to shovel before we head out for something later today. So, can I do one little small plug for the show tomorrow?
Who wouldn't do a shameless plug for this show?
Okay, so if anyone is involved in youth sports in any way, shape, or form, coach, it has a kid in it, whatever. I'm going to do a new segment called Grinding My Gears, and it's going to be a very special topic that I'm going to bring up.
You're killing me, Maddie. You killing me.
Something with youth sports. So join me tomorrow for how am I killing you, Jack?
He's grinding gears. He's in the rearview mirror. You in my car, bro?
Well, because I did the drive time thing. I know it's funny because I realized with you in the passenger seat, but I thought drive time was good because it's 5 to 6. So I'm trying to do everything car themed with it too. So then you and I will have similar themes with our shows, which is good. So we have that continuity going on together. But I'm gonna get on a soapbox a little bit with a subject very dear to my heart, dealing with youth sports. So if anyone wants to join in for that, if you're involved at all in youth sports, I promise you, the first 20, probably maybe even 30 minutes, it's going to be a good rant. But I'd love to have people on to have some conversations with people on it about.
Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the great Matty Ice. Again, drive time tomorrow, 5 p.m. Hockey expert, great host, new show. And with that being said, Maddie, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Good job on the show, Maddie.
All right, we back to the dynamic duo, baby.
Deuces wild.
Hey, what?
Who's he talking about?
Who's what?
Who's Jack talking about? Couldn't stay healthy.
Oh, he's talking about Terrell Davis. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Maddie and JC.
What we gonna do, man?
Got the boys crying. Still a Hall of Fame player, Jerome Bettis. Dude, we get it, dog. With that being said, let's go ahead and meander over to a little college hoops. Last night or yesterday, and I don't want to steal too much thunder from, the JC top 10 that comes up on Tuesday on the Tuesday night flight. But we had some decent ball games last night in the college basketball game. And let's just run through, because we had the big one with your boys, Alabama versus Auburn. So let's talk about that real quick.
Well, they didn't disappoint. I mean, both of them came out with high octane offense, man. Like I said, both of these teams probably averaged 80 points a game plus. So they did not disappoint, but I tell you, Auburn was able to hold on and maintain and slow the Alabama offense down enough to pull out a 9-point win. Johnny Broome balling like usual, 19 points, 14 boards. I saw some stuff. Auburn has a number one strength of schedule, the toughest schedule.
Yes.
But Alabama has all ranked teams left on their schedule. I think they got 4 games left, maybe 3, but every one of them is against a ranked team. So Alabama's going to get some pre-tournament work, you know what I mean, playing this level of teams at the end of the season. So I feel that will help Alabama going in the conference tournament and NCAA tournament, playing these tough teams. I like watching both these teams play, and anybody that likes offense has to like watching both these teams play. So thought it was a great matchup. Possibility we'll see it again. The SEC is deep. They are deep this year, Midnight Rider. Somebody said something to me the other day. Is the SEC the new Big East?
So that was that person you're talking about is the guy you're actually on the show with right now. I asked, could the SEC do something similar to, I think it was the Big East in '84, where it was like Villanova, St. John's,
Sent
in
9.
Georgetown in the Final Four. I think I forgot who the other team was in that Final Four. I would probably say Houston, but it ended up being Georgetown and Villanova, of course, in the finals of that season. So when I look at it, and I look at the teams, I look at the guys and the teams that these people play, and the experience level. Like, I think the only team that wouldn't surprise me in the mix of the Final Four teams is Houston. I think Houston can be there as a difference maker, but I really believe that what I see from Alabama, what I see from Auburn, they're probably definitely two teams that could end up in the Final Four, and because I like their style of play, I think depending on how the thing plays out, I can see Auburn, Alabama, and Florida in the Final Four, and the team that's from the outside looking in is a team like Houston. So that's why I asked you that question last night.
You forgetting to mention a certain team that wears blue.
Who? I'm not forgetting nobody.
Yeah.
No,
One
I'm
of
not.
the best teams in the country.
Hey, man.
With the best player in the country.
Yeah, but they not.
They are.
No.
They are.
See, Jack.
Inside out. Boy, that offense.
No. I know you talking about Duke. I know you talking about Duke, but I think
they're
the
gonna be a
other
number 1
teams
seed.
are a little bit more skilled and been together longer, and that's the only reason I trust me. I believe in skill and belief in each other over time. And I think Duke may have an issue where they may fall only because, and it's not because I hate Duke. It's only because I believe in synergy. I believe in team concepts. And I don't know if Duke has enough games on their ledger where they feel comfortable enough and believe enough in each other to get through a tight ball game late in the season. So go ahead, debunk my theory, please. Don't give me the big eyes, Jack. Just go ahead and say what you think.
I don't see what you're saying, bro. I mean, Cooper Flag, he got more experience than most basketball players in the NCAA, man. He's been playing big time ball since he was 12 years old, bro. And you know what? Cooper Flag should be a senior in high school this year. They reclassified, so
no, it's cool, man.
I mean, hey, you got Tyrese Proctor. He's deadly from 3. Big boy Malak from Sudan. James. This is one of the deeper Duke teams. I think we can go 8 deep. Knopple, that boy can put up 25, 30 in a minute. Duke's got a strong team. I don't know why nobody's giving them any dap. I know it's all Alabama, all Auburn, because they've been up there. Auburn's been up at the number 1 spot for quite a while, it seems. But you can't sleep on Duke, and you're right on that Houston call. I've been talking good about Houston. I think they're going to make some noise in the tournament. What conference is Houston out of, Rana?
I can't remember the conference.
Me neither. That's what I was trying to think.
Do me a favor, run through that and find that for me. I'm gonna get some of the comments real quick.
Yeah, do that.
Let's see. I don't know if we hit Jack Wagner's. He said yes. Terrell Davis. Matty Ice jumped in. Jack forgot to mention that last in the passenger seat was great stuff with our boy Lou Ron. Yo,
thank you, Matty. Yeah, blowing our mind, man. Right now we're at 1.5K views on that show. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
All right. Jumping off of that and back to our guy Jack Wagner. He says puke. Talking about Duke. Go ahead, Jack.
Houston's in the Big 12.
Okay.
At 21-4 and 13-1 in the conference. They're above Texas Tech by 2 games and above Arizona by 2 games. So that can get down to the nitty gritty here at the end in the Big 12.
All right. So then Jack comes back with Flag doesn't have enough support to win the chip.
Y'all tripping.
And that's where he
plenty of support. Plenty.
And Matt asked the question that is the beginning of my thought process. Has the SEC replaced the ACC for must watch in the tournament? And I say yes.
Yes, I say yes too.
And I think part of the problem, we kind of touched on it Thursday when we talked about the coaches leaving the ACC. The ACC is probably going to be bereft of talent when it comes to coaching because they've lost Bennett, they've lost Larinaga, they're losing Hamilton, and I still stand 10 toes deep on this. I think they're going to lose Hubert Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Hubert Davis is coming back to North Carolina because he can't do it. And the only way he comes back to NC is if they find someone to fill that job of the GM that teams talk about. That's the only way he gets back here and in this space. Jack Wagner says Duke should make the Final Four.
They don't have enough support to win. Okay, he's going to make the Final Four, though. All right.
Tim Watkins says, go Tar Heels. To that response, I tell Tim Watkins, go find what channel the Warriors are on. That's an inside family joke. So
Minerva, there was a lot of chatter yesterday on the sports world about Cooper Flag having so much fun playing college ball. And, with NIL, these cats are getting paid. I haven't looked up how much Cooper's making this year, but I'm sure it's a pretty penny. Will college basketball superstars start staying multiple years now this NIL's here? What do you think, man?
You know what, Jack? That's a great question. I think it depends on the superstar. I think certain guys will stay another year just because the money is good. The only thing I question is I think they're trying to embrace some form of a salary cap. So I don't know if they're going to make the money that we think they're going to make. If that makes sense. So I don't know if guys will really stay just to hold on to another year of college basketball. But so like the last I heard, I had a conversation with my boy, Coach Justin Cottrell. I forgot where he's coaching at now. He's probably a good person to have on the passenger seat. But I think last year he told me that the NC team alone, their top 9 guys were making like $500,000 in NIL.
Well, Cooper Flag makes 4.3. Top earning college player, it says. He's got a multi-year deal with Fanatics, and he's got a likeness deal with Gatorade. Expected to be the first overall pick in the draft. Will he stay to avoid going to a certain team? It's hard to say what's going to happen. Of course, we got to wait till they play these games in March, and
of course,
we'll find out. That's going to be an interesting story to follow. Cooper Flag, I think he's going to be outstanding in the NBA. I mean, give him 30 pounds, shoot.
All right, so with that being said, Boss B says keep that in mind when a team like the Wizards may have the first pick, players may not come out. And that's a great point, B. But I think we're at a point now that because of the lottery, I think they have to make their choices before the lottery comes out. So they don't know who the top pick is, if memory serves me correctly. So that might not be a thing. Tim Watkins with the lie of the day saying that I don't watch college basketball while I was at his house yesterday and college basketball was on the TV, he doesn't watch only when Georgetown loses. That's what it is. JoJo, he better go, and that NIL is pennies compared to the NBA. He can still keep NIL deals as far as endorsements. I think
not rookie contracts.
Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
I don't think rookie contracts are that much more better than his 4.3 right now.
But even if you think about it in the long term, why take a year of extra NIL money when you stop the clock when you getting your max money?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're in the NBA, you know, I guess your contract after, let's say 4 years.
That clock starts ticking, yeah.
Right. So why would you waste that 1 year to gain that one momentum when you can, in year 5 or year 4, you go from, I don't know, say 15 million to 25 to 30 million. Like,
well,
wow, clock.
He wants to stay at Duke and win 2 national championships.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And then JoJo says again, it sure is better. But yeah, I mean, we totally agree with you, JoJo. I don't even know what banner we on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we did college hoops. We've taken up, we ranked the running backs. We did USA. We did NBA All Star. So here's where we are today, ladies and gentlemen. Being the sports show that we are, we're gonna give some love to one of the best basketball games on the ledger today, and it's not on the men's college basketball side. It's not the men's NBA finals. It's not actually. I might have to come back to something.
USC,
but it's South Carolina versus UConn today. I think it's 4 versus 9 or 4 versus 7. You got Paige Buckers and her crew playing against the South Carolina Gamecocks. I think this is going to be the must-watch game of the day. It comes on at 1 p.m.
1 o'clock.
I'm literally about to rearrange the rest of my schedule once we finish this up, make some food so I can sit back and watch this and hang out for the rest of the day. But Jack, thoughts or whatever you got, and it ain't gotta be much, man.
There's a mess of good games on the women's schedule today. You got number 10 North Carolina State going into Greensboro to play the Tar Heels. Number 12 at 2 o'clock, and then at 3 o'clock today, you got number 5 LSU Tigers going to play number 3 Texas Longhorns. That should be a barn burner right there. I expect to see something good. And then UCLA, number 1 UCLA's got the Michigan State Lady Spartans, and that's the end of today's slate. It's getting that time where the good matchups, and then like I say, you got conference tournaments just around the corner. Exciting time.
All right, so I'm letting y'all know now that the Sideline Junkies will have a bracket tournament. There's no money involved, but we'll set something up for both the women's and the men's side.
You want to break something off? I'll break something off.
We'll figure that out as we get along.
I agree.
Maybe we do like a $5 buy-in, and I don't know. But beyond that,
whichever way. I used to be in so many brackets back in the day. I mean, I'd have a stack. I'd be in 15 brackets, and I miss that. Now you don't find nobody doing brackets like that where you go hand them $5 and give them a piece of paper. You can do it all online now.
Yep.
And I go to ESPN and I go to different bracket challenges.
Yep.
And just fill a bunch out. But a buddy of mine does one yearly, and it's weird, man. I still don't know the rules to it. There's a winner every day, every game day. There's a winner.
Then I wouldn't understand that one either.
Oh, it's crazy.
So probably he's doing the best score of the day. So like, since it's Thursday, whoever has the most right on Thursday, they win something.
It was actually Brian Choney's mom that did that. So maybe we can talk to Brian about that in further detail on Wednesday, because returning to the passenger seat will be Brian Choney to get down with me and Midnight Rider about his Super Bowl experience and how Super Bowl week treated him down there in New Orleans. So I'm excited to have Brian Choney back in the passenger seat this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Check us out.
Yo, I love you, Doug. Because I wasn't even expecting that. I didn't think that was the next one, but yes, yeah, totally works.
How I roll.
So as we always do on a Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon, we ask people what they eating.
Shit. I don't know, because Cameron's leaving in a little while. We had some banging spaghetti with meat sauce last night. Cameron made it. I think I saw she had some chicken out, and I got some broccoli and carrots. I'm in the mood for some broccoli and carrots.
Ooh,
so I think we're gonna have baked chicken with some vegetables. That's what we're gonna have.
So I think the main course of the day is going to be a spaghetti meat sauce type of thing. I just realized I don't have any onion. I mean, I don't have any peppers.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so we're gonna be straight
Get
onion.
them frozen jokers out of the freezer.
I don't think I have any more of the frozen jokers, dog.
What?
They
good in the pinch.
Yeah, so I think that's the case, but I think we got this cucumber tomato mix that my godmother makes, and I think I got a rotisserie chicken, so I think I'm gonna strip the rotisserie chicken down, put it over top of the so I'll warm up the rotisserie chicken in the microwave, and then put the cucumbers and tomato mixture over top of it. I think that's my I think that's gonna be my lunch. And then in the meantime, I'll slowly cook my spaghetti and meat sauce.
My boy Jaguar put down one of our favorite treats back in the day, boy.
Let me see if I can get to it.
Boy, we used to run down the Sonny's down there on Rhode Island Avenue and Eastern Avenue, just across the DC line. Sonny's little Chinese joint. You get five wings. Look like they was on steroids. And I got fried rice with mine. You could get fries or rice, and I'd always get fried rice and a grape soda. $4 1/4, baby. $4.25.
Is that Vulture's Jack? So JoJo chimes in. SC, let's go.
Looking good.
Jack Wag says chicken wings and mumbo sauce with white rice. I know that's right. And an egg roll. I know that's yo.
Hey Jack,
I don't know if you had one lately, but the steak and cheese egg roll.
Oh yeah, I've had that. I've had a Reuben egg roll. I've had a crab cake egg roll. Yeah,
that's next on my list. I gotta find a place with a crab cake egg roll, bro.
Jimmy's.
Okay.
Jimmy's got it. It's like $22, $30.
Oh, never mind. We gotta find us a.
Yeah. Jack, you getting chicken wings with mumbo sauce down there in South Carolina, bro? If so, that's awesome.
Well, I mean, a lot of places sell the mumbo sauce, the Cap City mumbo, or some version of it. So
there's some fake shit from up north, Chicago or something. And
then,
no,
it's not fake. So Chicago has a Hear me out, Jack.
I saw it.
So Chicago has their version. They have a Mambo sauce, MAMBO, which is a staple of theirs. And then ours is, of course, the Mumbo, the MUMBO. So yeah, it's not a.
Well, the cat that created that Mumbo sauce in DC, He finally got it in the stores on the shelves and whatnot. It's in your Safeway, your Food Line, you know.
It's one called Capital City.
Capital City.
Yeah.
And you know, he passed away like 8 months after he cashed in on Mumbo Sauce.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You get the chicken wings from the Chinese joint. He said,
we get out of here, you got anything else?
No. Oh, Jack said, I guess when he was up in Maryland, he brought home a case of Mumbo Sauce to South Carolina. So that's how he hooks his stuff up. Gotcha, Jack.
Yeah. Oh, yes, indeed, Jack. Yo,
right.
So for Jack Wagner being the third wheel until Matty Ice jumped in, for Matty Ice jumping in when we started talking hockey and running backs, for JoJo being here. We got the Brian Tuning, which I didn't know about, on Wednesday for In the Passenger Seat. We have the upcoming Tuesday show of the Tuesday Night Flight. We don't do no overtime. We're actually gonna get out of here one time. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, but we are.
We still a little over Midnight Rider.
No, I consider hour and 20. If we over hour and 20, then that's overtime.
50 minutes.
Nah, we ain't never doing 50
Not
minutes
on Sundays. Yeah, Sunday's gonna be our show. We just do, but we're trying to cut down on Tuesday or Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the Midnight Rider. That's the Gentleman Jack Carr. We had the big guy KG. He was under the weather, so
yeah, get well, big guy.
Get well, big guy. For the boss B, who was in the comments, yeah, we love you, bro. See you next time you can get on with us. For the other members, we talking about the bricklayers of this. Jimmy, Delonte, Lady C. You know, we are all, even though you see maybe 4 or 5 of us, we are a deeper group than what you see on the screen all the time. With that being said, I'm the Midnight Rider. We don't do no overtime. We thank you for watching. Jump on Sideline Junkies 24/7, Sideline Junkies podcast, In the Passenger Seat, all on Facebook. If you go to YouTube, make sure you jump on and like and subscribe our stuff on YouTube. You know, you in a situation where you can't watch us, but you want to hear us. We're on the Odyssey app. Not many shows are on this, but we're on Odyssey. So you can go to Odyssey where you can listen to WIP. You can listen to Team 980. You can listen to 106.7 The Fame. You can listen to 92.3 in Cleveland, 92.3 in Chicago. That same place, you can get us, the Sideline Junkies. So represent, give us love, watch our shows. We appreciate you enjoying our content because this is the only reason we do it. And with that being said, the Midnight Rider, the Gentleman Jack Carr, we are